Here we are, talking TAO with Lex and Alexander. Hello, Lex.
Hello, Alexander. Hello, everyone who's joining us today. Welcome.
Nice to be with you all. Sorry we missed you last week if you were tuning in. We only did our first segment a couple of weeks ago, but something came up last week. Lex was a little unwell. You feeling better now, Lex?
I am much better. Thank you for asking.
Did you apply the TAO wisdom to get back on path?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the whole point of the wisdom, is to be able to apply it to receive the healing benefits. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you get some TAO hands blessings?
Absolutely. My family actually is, to be honest, well, of course, I'm always honest, but receiving blessings from I love when people say to be honest. It's like, oh, yes, please. Were you not honest before? No, absolutely. My wife was offering me blessings, TAO hands blessings. I had other TAO hands practitioners offering me blessings, which is beautiful, and my children as well, which is so heart touching. My children also being able to serve me in this way, and it's this the community. Community is just so important. So just as
that's what it's about, isn't it?
It is, because you're not supposed to do it on our own. There's no separation. This aspect that we're all one, and there's no need for us to sort of forge ahead on our own, because one day I'm up, Alexander might be down. One day, 1 week I'm sick, and there's this aspect where we all can come in and support each other in that way. So community is huge. That's something that's so wonderful about the community we offer. So thank you. Yeah, so wonderful.
It's a perfect segue, because what we're talking about today is TAO hands, which we are part of this amazing community of TAO hands healers and other people all around Australia and globally as well. So we're very blessed to be able to have this special tool on our belt, so to speak, a very powerful spiritual healing tool, which we're going to hear more about today. This is going to be the focus of our Talking TAO for today, to let everybody know a little bit about TAO hands, because we're actually running a workshop in a few weeks' time, which you're going to be running, Lex, and I know that it's always a very, very powerful weekend. So did you want to say anything? We actually have a special surprise today. We have a special guest with us, Susan, coming from up in the Gold Coast, Southern Gold Coast, and she became a TAO hands healer last year. So she's going to be sharing with us today and sharing a few of her stories and her background. She studied as a Reiki healer and many other modalities as well. So she provides a unique insight into TAO hands and the journey she's had over the last year. So we're going to bring her on in a second. Lex, do you want to say anything about TAO hands?
No. Look, all I'd say is, it's so much better to hear about something from someone who's just experienced it, recently. So, on the weekend I'll be talking a lot. So it's always nice to hear other people talk and share. But yeah, we'll bring Susan on. But yeah, she was with us last year. I can't remember. She'll correct me. I think it was either June or July last year. So it was just we thought it'd be a great opportunity to bring someone on and hear what their journey's been like, what their experience was, and go from there and ask some questions. So let's bring
Susan on. Just before I do that, I'm going to actually share a link in the chat box for everybody who is watching. Throughout, you have the opportunity to click through and actually sign up for one of our complimentary introductory webinars, and that way you can go into a bit more depth about the TAO hands, and me and Lex actually run those as well. So you have that opportunity to join us at any point throughout, and I'm going to share that link now, but we're going to bring Susan on. Here we go. Boom. There's Susan. Welcome, Susan.
Hello.
Hi, Susan. Welcome.
Hi, Alexander. Hi, Master Lex. Oh, it's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me. Feeling so honored to be here.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you for coming such last minute. Susan was literally rushing in the door to be with us today. But, it is. It's all worked out absolutely beautiful. So she has no idea what we're going to ask her today, which is always so much more fun for Alexander and myself. But anyway, Susan, tell us a little bit about what you do. Give us a little bit of background on yourself and what you're doing at the moment.
Yes. So my mission is to help more people live soul embodied lives. So I'm all about the soul, more about accessing the natural innate intelligence that we have within us, going to the source, the core of who we are underneath the conditionings underneath the ego, because I really feel like that's what it's all about, and being able to connect to life, connect to God, connect to other people from that place, from our deepest core. I'm all about bringing people back to the soul, and that's, so I'm a therapist. I'm a holistic counselor, transpersonal therapist. And how I explain that to people is I help them merge their spirituality with the physical reality, and I help them live from their core values, from the and I just help them develop a deeper relationship with the divine.
Yeah, beautiful. Why do you do this?
Why do I do this? Well, there's many reasons why, but I went through my own journey of healing. I went through my own journey of trying to, I'm a seeker, you know. I was seeking out what is spirituality, what is life about. I had to move through a lot of my own blockages. I had to move through depression, anxiety, a lot of toxic relationships, and get to the core of what does it mean to live a fulfilling life. And so on that journey, I learned Reiki, I learned psychology, I learned all of these different healing modalities, so I could become more whole in myself and get to a place where I'm attracting healthier relationships, I'm living my dream job, and I'm living in my dream, like basically my dream environment, being in nature, being in eco village. So I have so much to be grateful for today. I have so much to share today, but that's because I went on my own journey of healing, and now I'm passionate about helping other people attain the same, whatever that looks like to them. It's not going to look the same for everyone, but that's why.
Beautiful. So you shared, you obviously, I know before you came and joined us to do the TAO hands, you already were healing and already had a lot of experience. Can I ask, since that time with the sort of last year, what was it that that you took away, from that learning, from that healing, that sort of, and obviously this is like added onto already what was already a wealth of knowledge that you had and healing experiences. But I'm just sort of curious, what did the TAO hands add or develop, to bring you where you are today? So I know you shared beautifully. We had a chance of speaking the other day, and you sort of said, Lex, a lot has happened sort of since last year. Maybe you could just share a little bit about that.
Yeah, there were so many things that you taught us in the TAO hands that resonated with my soul, and so many key principles that you shared with us that has stuck with me to this day and has helped me shape my reality. Honestly, it's really helped me shape my reality. One of it, probably the top one, is my devotion to service. And the way that you spoke about just how much of a divine virtue it is to be of service, it just made so much sense to me. I'm here to be of service, and showing up to serve others brings out the best in me. It makes me move forward in life. It gives me the drive to keep growing, to keep expanding, so I can impact more people's lives in a positive way. And I love what you shared about just how heaven works, and how this is such, we've been given, I feel like through TAO hands, it's another form of divine grace that I have in my life. Because whenever I'm in a rut, or whenever I feel like I want to help someone, I can. And there's been so many times that I have used it for others when they're going through something, and they get instantly engulfed in divine grace, and they feel instantly better. And it gives people, it's given me the grace in, when fears come up in my life, when blockages come up, I use my TAO hands and I get so much clarity. I get clarity on what the next steps to take to come back to love, to come back to my heart. And it's given me this instant access to more light and love wherever I am that can be shared with others. And I love sharing it with my clients, especially if they are going through a hard transition. Giving them TAO blessings, it takes the load off them. It takes the heaviness off the process. And that is such divine grace. So I would definitely say my devotion to service and the emphasis on being of service, and how much of an incredible virtue that is. Because every time I show up to be of service, I feel like I'm getting blessed at the same time. Even though I'm doing what I love anyway, I'm getting blessed at the same time. And it's incredible that I get to do this for my work. I'm so grateful. So grateful.
Alexander, I think the interview's done now. I'm tingling here as I'm just listening to Susan share. There's so many things, I just sort of, want to delve into a little bit more with, what you shared there. And I know Susan talks about, I was sort of teaching that, this is an aspect where I'm just passing on the wisdom that's been passed on to me, and then sharing from my place of experiences as Susan's sharing. But what sort of touched my heart the most is this aspect where you shared, the fulfilling aspect of offering service. And this is, I feel, this is a big thing for where humanity is at, for a better word, is because so many of us can be caught in this aspect of service to self, getting a job, getting a house, and bringing in happiness through, I call it, well, literally matter, stuff, literally. Or if I get the new car, happiness. If I get to ski in Aspen this year, happiness. And all this, but this sort of true reality that this doesn't really bring any kind of fulfillment. Even if you get a nice car or you go out buy a nice outfit, literally in a couple of days, that can just mean nothing, particularly if we're not sort of happy in our life. But it's this truth that, why we're here. And it's like, why we're here to help others. It's like, well, how wonderful is that? Can you imagine living in a world where we're focused on helping others? And helping others feels so wonderful to see others become happy. But as Susan shared, it's this aspect of that we are blessed. We actually see blessing because we have that alignment with heaven, because this is like a universal law. Go out there and help others. And when you go do that, we're going to bless you. And it's like, okay, bonus. And this is how all the healing happens and all this, which is so cool. Susan, give us some examples. I'd love to know, you've been helping a lot of people and yourself. Can you give us maybe just a few little, how have you helped people? Can you give us some examples maybe for people and yourself?
Yeah, so I can tell you the last time I gave a TAO Hands blessing was around 2 weeks ago to a client. This is to someone else, and that was to, at that time, she wasn't my client yet, but we're just on a call. I was getting to know her, and she's been going through things. She's been feeling stuck and just feeling confused and feeling disconnected, and anxiety as well. She had anxiety, and she just felt heavy. She was showing me like just how she felt heavy. She felt stuck, and I got to know her, and then I said, by the end of our conversation, when she got to know how I work and what I could offer, she was really keen to work with me. And I said, well, I'm not available for another week, so how about I give you a TAO Hands blessing so that in this week's time you can have the grace and you can start to adjust to new energies and be ready to step into this transformational work of transpersonal therapy. So I gave her the blessing, and in the blessing I prayed for just grace, give her more grace and give her what her soul needs to feel better. And I gave it to heaven, and by the end, it was just a 5-minute blessing, but by the end she said that she finally felt this hope and this excitement. She felt excitement for the first time in a long time, because she felt like she was moving towards her soul's purpose, and it was a knowing in her. It's like, I know that I'm moving towards my soul's purpose. And she just felt a lot lighter, and she was just pretty blown away because it was only a 5-minute blessing, and I've seen her transform, and she's nowhere near, like, she's not the same person anymore, and we've only had 2 sessions, and it's just, yeah, so it was so nice to know that I can take care of my clients as soon as they sign up if they really need it, as soon as they decide that I'm going to work with Susan, but if I'm not available straight away, that I can at least give them something to help them prepare and to help them adjust to higher frequencies before they start. So that's an example of how I've used it, and yeah, it's gotten her got her really excited to work with me, and so gave her that relief from the pain that she was experiencing. Yeah. So another example is I have a friend who was going through a lot, and he doesn't live anywhere near where I live. He's he's an hour and a half down south, and I had one of his best friends tell me, hey, can you reach out to him? He needs some help. He's been going through a hard time. So I'm on Messenger, and I just go, hey, are you open to receiving a blessing? I heard that you've been going through things, and he goes, yeah, absolutely. And so I sent the blessing, and it was a big blessing because I really felt a lot of energy come to me and like want to help me with this blessing. And he messaged me as soon as when it was done, and he just said, I feel amazing. He just said, I feel amazing. And that was just 7 minutes. And he goes, I feel amazing. I feel, yeah, he was just saying, I feel so much better. He's like, thank you so much. You're so amazing. I didn't do anything. That was heaven. And it came heaven threw a party for you. I said heaven just threw a party for you. Yeah.
And
that's so beautiful.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Susan? Oh yes, please continue.
Oh yeah. So let's see. There's been so many times.
I just want to jump in there because I can so relate with that story of when someone really needs it. This is the beautiful thing about Tao hands, and you understand, we touched on a little bit, Susan, you touched on the wisdom that comes through the workshop, and that's such a big part of it as well. When you really understand the wisdom, you really understand why Tao hands is so powerful in the way that it works. And I'm interested to hear a little bit in a minute about how you use this in with your other tools that you offer and how it complements them, and also how it's a bit different. But I just want to say, I can so relate with those moments where people are really, that people are really all on the brink, they're really on the brink. And the Tao hands is such a infinite channel in a way that whatever people need, they will get in that point of time. And heaven just works through us, as you said. So I love that story, because we can offer 100 blessings a day, but when someone really needs it, it's can be quite massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just piggybacking what Alexander's sharing, you shared that, I know you were doing Reiki before, you're doing Tao hands, because I know there's a lot of people who already have these backgrounds of service, and be it Reiki or kinesiology, even doctors and sort of nurses, and they sort of come, and I find quite a common question is, well, what's the difference between Tao hands? I know from my position, I can say, look, I didn't have any healing modalities before, so I don't wish to, compare or explain when I have no experience. But I know, Susan, you had a lot of experience with sort of other healing modalities. It'd be great to share for our audience, firstly, what you perceive as the point of difference between Tao hands and these other modalities, and then following on to Alexander's sort of point there is, well, then how do you then integrate this aspect of Tao hands into your practice and service?
Yeah. So the difference between, from what I've experienced, when I give and receive Reiki, it's a journey. It's a journey, and especially in a session, there's a path to follow. First of all, Reiki takes a longer time. It takes longer time to really get into to give the clients the result that they would want. You need to, there's a requirement that there is more amount of time, in minimum 30 minutes usually, if I'm receiving a session, if I'm giving a session, because it's important to tune into every chakra and to look into the chakras, and there is a big emphasis on the chakras. It's new. That's one thing that I teach and that I was taught as a foundation of Reiki, is the chakra system. And as part of Reiki, I mean, everyone adds different things to it and everyone works differently with Reiki, but usually I receive messages and I look into, I focus on like, okay, what chakras need to be realigned, or what chakras need to be activated, or what's going on. I get lots of colors. It's a very psychic experience. It's like a psychic journey that I got on, receiving the images, receiving the messages, and it's almost like, and that's how I incorporate therapy into the Reiki, is because I connect the chakras to how the mind, body, and spirit works, and then and I can explain a lot about why they feel this way and how they can shift it. Now, my Tao hands, so when I'm offering Tao hands blessings, it's quite instant. It's kind of like I feel as though I get a flood of source energy and it just goes to where it's meant to, and I trust in the process, and I step back and I'm just like the vehicle, you know. I'm not going to comment on anything. It's not about me receiving visions and taking them through a journey. It's about giving them an instant blessing. And heaven, source will go to where it's needed to get to the root cause, and then bring so much light, bring so much love into it. That's why they feel the instant relief, right? So it's almost like it's quite a powerful form of receiving that divine grace in that moment, in that instant moment. It doesn't take much time, can be done within a few minutes, really. And so it's a whole different experience, you know. If I'm short on time, if I don't have the energy, if I physically don't have the energy, giving Tao hands is it's a great alternative, and it's just as powerful, I find. It may not come with as much information, and I may not be as much of a co-facilitator in it, because I feel like I'm just there to be the vehicle, and it's almost as though with the client's permission, then I'm the medium between the heaven, and I'm like, okay, he's given you permission, so you can do it now. But it's really I just feel like I'm like the messenger, like, yeah, you have his permission, and of course checking with my Tao pendulum, but usually when I say it and I give permission, it just flows. So it's instantaneous. It's it can be, it doesn't require me to be at my optimal state, compared to giving a whole Reiki session, you know, where it needs more time. I need to be in a good state. I'm pretty much collaborating with the spiritual world, and there's a lot of emphasis on the chakras, whereas Tao hands is just, I just trust that it's kind of, I just trust that it'll go to where it needs to go.
Hey, Susan, you shared, sorry, I'm just going to jump in quickly. You shared something really interesting with me when we were hanging out recently. And you said something along the lines of, with Reiki, I feel like I'm working with somebody, and that process that I'm starting can sometimes take them a year or 2 years to integrate that what you're actually doing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I remember you sharing something along these lines. But you said with Tao hands, you feel like that process can happen a lot quicker, or can you explain a little bit what you meant? Because I thought that was really interesting when you were sharing that.
So absolutely, with Reiki, it reveals, it's such a journey, you know, like it reveals to a person where the blockages are, but to get to the root cause of it and to transform the root cause, it requires to do grounding work sometimes, and depending on how long that trauma has been in their body, yeah, it can take, they need to continue going on that journey and heal the root cause. And I find, yeah, sometimes, I mean, for me personally, when I went on my Reiki journey, Reiki shone light on shadows, on the darkness. It shone light on it, which is a form of consciousness. So my consciousness was now aware that I had these things within me that to be worked on. But then I had to do a lot of grounding work. I had to do the therapy side. I had to, yeah, learn about my body. I did a lot of, I went to kinesiology, all these things. And it personally took me a good few years to heal the root cause of it. And when I tune into Tao hands, it's a transcendental experience. It's a transcendental experience, and there's so much grace to it. It's almost as though, depending on the soul's spiritual standing, of course, in the standing, I feel like it can transform. I'm really cautious on using the word karma, but yeah, it's the realms that it works on. It works on multiple realms, right? And it's just, yeah, I feel like it can transform karma. It just depends on the person, because sometimes, I mean, for example, when I received the transmission of Master Lex, and it was for my migraines. And I know that this transmission was probably, it wasn't just the Tao hands blessing. I think there was a bit more to it as well. But it's still the energy that is used in Tao hands blessing. There's still a connection, right? And yeah, my migraines, I've only had one since then. It's been a year, and that's a miracle. That's an absolute miracle. So yeah, yeah, it's hard to explain, really. It really depends on the individual as well. I'm not saying everyone's going to get this experience, but I know for sure, like, even learning Tao hands and really embodying that path of service, the transformations that just moving out of the ego, like, it was such a powerful way of moving out of the ego, moving out of, yeah, focusing on getting consumed in my own humanness. You know what I mean? So yeah, and sometimes with the Tao, with Tao hands, if a person's able to heal to the point they can get into service more quickly, the ripple effect of that is just, yeah, it affects every part of the being, really. So it's transformational. It can be very transformational.
I love how you share about that, Lex. Yeah.
What's that? Share about what?
I love how Lex, you often say that when you heal yourself, and what I love, you know, Susan, that was amazing sharing. And I think this is the point that we touched on before. When you understand more of that wisdom and you understand the level at which those blockages are being cleared, that's what you all have the opportunity to hear a little bit more about in the introductory webinar. So click below, and Lex actually gives a teaching in that space about where the healing with Tao hands is happening. But what I was going to say, Lex, and even in the webinar, I've heard you share this, when you heal yourself and you get that wisdom and you understand what life's about, you do move into service. And I love that you touched on that, Susan.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, because healing is just the first aspect. We all need healing, but it's literally just sort of the first step on sort of our journey of evolving sort of spiritually. And it's, as Alexander shared, just quite simply, when you get healing results, you know, because when I started, it was like, oh, I really, really want to believe this, but I'm not too sure whether it works. So I just tried it on myself and my family for 6 months. And then when you start seeing the results come in, you get excited and you just go, wow, this really works. And then as time progresses, more and more results. And of course, you can't not then want to share it with your loved ones and your friends, especially, you know, it starts with loved ones and then friends are telling you, oh, my back. It's like, can I offer you a blessing? Can I offer you a blessing? It's like, why not? Because you're seeing the results. And You know, as Susan was sharing, it's, you know, 5-minute blessing, new client, remote. Susan's tired, can't serve, offers a blessing, and how profound the change is. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily profound. Even someone just saying, I've got level 5 back pain, for example, like, you know, well, what's level 5? We say gauge your pain out of 1 out of 10. So let's say 5. It's like, yeah, it's there, it hurts. It's not severe. But you offer a blessing and all of a sudden someone's back pain goes from like maybe a 5 to sort of a 2, you know, in what, like 5 minutes, what, like over a telephone. So it's, you know, it's unbelievable because it is unbelievable. So it doesn't matter what we believe. What's important is that you have an experience. So I think it's a perfect segue now for us to offer a Tao Hands blessing. And what we're going to do is I would invite Susan and Alexander, let us all together offer everyone a Tao Hands blessing as a team, which I think will be absolutely wonderful. So if everyone who is watching live, even those who are watching the recording of this on Facebook, and even those who might watch it on YouTube down the track, all of you will receive a healing blessing. So you can just make a request. I invite everyone to close your eyes. I know Alexander and Susan are both preparing because we're just facilitators. It's nothing to do with us. It's just an incredible opportunity and a blessing for us to allow whatever it is we believe, whether, you know, simply divine or source or the Tao, it just comes from upstairs. And that's what I like to tell everyone. It just comes. You know, some people say, Lex, I just believe in Jesus. I go, it's coming from Jesus. It's coming from Jesus because it's all one. It's all one. It's all really beautiful. So anyway, let us close our eyes. Alexander, Susan, myself, we're going to prepare to offer a blessing. Now, silently make a request. If you want to receive, you just say your name. Yes, my name is Lex, and I'd love to receive a blessing on my back. You know, it could be a condition, could be something of a mental body condition. It could be a relationship. It could be emotion. Susan was talking about the lady she served with depression and anxiety. Whatever comes up first is always the best thing to work with. And as we prepare, it'd be good just to tune into that request and just kind of gauge how it's feeling. Because at the end, I'll ask you to check in again with how you're feeling. So this just gives a bit of context, you know, before and after. But don't concern yourself how you feel or what you receive. This is what Susan was sharing as well. Just what your experience is, what your experience. Don't concern yourself about what your experience is, because everyone is going to receive. Wonderful. So everyone has now offered their name and they've made their request. And all you've got to do is just close your eyes and just breathe. You can visualize light coming to that area. If not, just absolutely relax and breathe. So this is going to be a silent blessing. We'll tell you when the blessing starts, and then you just relax, receive, and then we'll let you know when the blessing finishes. Wonderful. So Alexander and Susan, in the beautiful condition to offer such beautiful service. Deep breath in and exhale, relaxing. So blessing start for everyone who's made a request, blessing for their request. So the blessing is just going to go for another minute. Just continue to breathe. So the blessing ends at this time, and just everyone who's just received, just keep your eyes closed just for a few more moments. You can just bring your awareness back to your breath, just integrating as you inhale and exhale. And also invite you just to check in with your requests, lower back, maybe trouble with your liver, maybe depression, whatever your request. Let's just check back in, see if there's any changes. You may have felt a bit of heat, a bit of cold, you may have seen a bit of light. You may feel a bit more energized, you may feel a bit more drained. You may have felt absolutely nothing. Whatever your experience is perfectly good. Take another deep breath and open your eyes. Bring yourself back to the space. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed that 2-3 minute blessing of Tao hands, and just observe how you feel, be it later today and tomorrow. Some people get like an instant, something just miraculous straight away. Sometimes it takes a few days to integrate. So it's different for everyone. So there's no real black and white experience for anyone. But what I can assure is everyone has received for the request. So I'd like to come back to Susan just to, I know there's people who are watching who are going, okay, this is quite interesting. I know Alexander's been sharing beautifully there a landing page where we talk more about Tao hands, which you can visit after. But Susan, just some sort of like final words, sort of final sharing. What would you say to encourage people to take that next step?
I would say that if you value your soul, if you value living from a place of authenticity, if you value your purpose and engaging in practices that can bring you deeper fulfillment, if you value living from a place of being deeply fulfilled, then you're going to learn a lot of wisdom and a lot of spiritual principles that can put you on that path of living a really soul integrated life, which is deeply fulfilling. And the more you invest in yourself and your healing, then the more you can give to others, and you increase your connection to divine. So
beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
If you're already watching this, then you're already on some level. You're already there. You've attracted these kind of vibrations. So well done to get into that place where you're open-minded enough to even consider it. The next is just trust, and have faith in the process.
That's so wonderful, Susan. So beautiful. Susan, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having hearing your insights, and particularly, your sort of background and understanding of it all. That's really, really, really powerful. And I know a lot of people really, really appreciate your sharing today. Thank you so much. I might hand it back to my beloved friend, Alexander.
Yeah, just mirroring the gratitude. Thanks, Susan. It's been so cool to have you on today and hear your story. And just thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for the amazing work that you're doing and your heart of service out into the world. And just wondering, is there any way that people can maybe get in touch with you moving forward to stay connected and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you can just visit my website. It's SusanVu, SusanVu.com. And there's all the information on how to contact me, and if you want to read more about what I do and my journey, then it's all there as well.
Amazing. Wonderful. That's great. Yeah. And as we've shared, we do have a Tao Hands training coming up at the end of the month, and there's introductory webinars running throughout the month. So jump on there and find out a little bit more about what we've been talking about. We've obviously heard some amazing sharing from Susan, and we've been talking about some things which may resonate or some which may be new to you. So that 1 hour is really action-packed in the way it gives you an experience of the Tao hands. It introduces Master Shah, who is the creator of Tao hands, but it also starts to tap into some of that wisdom around why Tao hands is unique and how it works. And Lex does a great job at fitting all that in. I remember when I first said to Lex, I said, Lex, this is what I think we need to have in the webinar. Boom, 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 boom. He said, I can't do all of that in an hour. It's a little bit more than an hour. It's about an hour and 15, 20, but he did a pretty good job. He did a pretty good job. So I invite everyone to take that step. You'll see that link in the comments down below, and we hope to hear from you more. And Susan would love to get you back on at some point and check back in with you. And I know we're all going to be connected through the community as well.
Do we have time for me to quickly share something about the Reiki part? Because it clicked. Like I know what you're talking about. I didn't remember that. It
Absolutely.
came to me afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll summarize it. But basically, the journey of Reiki it's a form of light. So it shines light on a person's shadows and darkness, right? Anything that's stopping them from living their path, anything that's that doesn't serve them, any darkness, it shines light on that. Now, then they go on the journey of healing that. But with Tao hands, it's not about the shadow work. It's not about, giving people the understanding of what's stopping them from, or it's not about giving them the understanding of where the shadows are and where the blind spots are. It's just pure divine grace. And see what happens is if a person's on a journey of healing with Reiki and all the darkness is coming up, all the blockages and the triggers are coming up, and they're going through this like, oh, what the heck's going on? My ego's dying. Well, the Tao hands acts as like an antidote for that pain, so that they can keep moving forward with divine grace. So they're not in that pain all the time. The pain isn't as intense. It's like taking it's kind of like a spiritual medicine for healing an illness. But on the journey of healing, it's painful. It can be painful, and the ego's dying can be painful. So when Tao hands is applied to that journey, then it takes away the pain. They can keep moving forward with the new awareness and continue to transform.
Beautiful.
Boom. That's what I meant.
Hey, Susan, I really wanted to ask you one more question. So I know we've gone over time, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because, we have a good mutual friend, Steve, you met him when you were in Toronto. He's a Tao hands healer as well. And I know for years, Steve was encouraging you to do Tao hands. He was like, come and do it. And he was trying to get you involved in all this sort of stuff. So I'm just interested, as a final question, absolutely final question, what was it what made you take that step in the end? Because it must have been a couple of years probably from when you heard about it to when you actually did it. What was it that got you over the line?
Well, one was seeing what it's done in his life and how he has evolved more and more in his level of service, and how he just continues to shine and expand. So it's that, and knowing that Tao hands and Master Shah was a big part of that journey of him becoming the person who is today. He's so amazing. And another one was, I was going through a hard time. Like I was going through a separation, and my heart was breaking. So I asked, Steve and I were talking, and he decided to offer me a blessing, and he said, I really feel like this course, this learning your Tao, getting your Tao hands is going to be so beneficial for you. He gave me that one blessing, and so much was lifted. I was engulfed in divine grace. The pain was dissipated, and I had this new love, like this newfound hope for my life. And I also knew in my heart that I need to do this course because of how much his blessing helped me in that moment, and how much light came into my field. And I was just like, wow, I just felt so much light around me. I thought, this is a real deal. And I'm a believer now. Like, I need to do this. I need to get my Tao hands, because that was amazing what he just did. And then it's just stuck with me. That energy is now a part of who I am, and I'm so grateful for that. That he brought that light in when I was needing it most. And Alex, you did the same as well. You gave me I think 30 days of Tao hands when I was going through a separation, which is a really hard time, right? When people need a lot of grace when they're going through separations, and all the emotional things come up, and yeah, the core wounds come up and all that. And I moved through that time with so much grace because I allowed myself to be supported by people like Alexander and Steve, who gave me blessings. You gave me blessings like 30 days in a row or so, and I had never moved through a separation that quickly, and I've never transformed the pain and the fears that quickly in such a short period of time. I had never moved on in such a powerful way and moved forward and never looked back. So yeah. And normally heartbreaks are like, it's so hard for me. Separations have been so hard for me in the past, but that one was filled with grace, and I have my DAO hands to definitely thank for that as well as a big part of it.
Yeah, incredible. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Great. It's time for us to wrap. But I think the beautiful thing that you've said a number of times today, Susan, is the DAO hand brings the grace. You said that to me when I was catching up with you up north, and I thought that was such a beautiful one line to sum it up. And this is open to everybody. You know, as Susan shared, me and Steve offered her blessings throughout that period, and now she's a healer. So this is really something, you know, and this is part of what Master Shah's mission is to put the healing power in the hands of all humanity, to give everyone the opportunity to serve at another level. And so we encourage everybody, join the webinar, click on the link below, find out a little bit more. And there's a little gift as part of that, signing up for that as well. So you'll see that when you click through. So I think that's it. Anyone have anything else to say?
So it's been wonderful. It's been absolutely wonderful, Susan, for your sharing, and Alexander. Very, very grateful. And thank you to everyone who has joined us for this session, and those who watched the replay of the session. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.